Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. Hope everybody had a great trading day yesterday. I am your host, Chuck Fulkerson. As we do what we do each and every day, identify potential turning points and breakout trades on the same 10 to 12 futures markets. For those of you that are new to the channel, do me a favor, click the little subscribe button down below so that you get the alerts as they become available. And then if you are a regular viewer, do me a favor, give me a like, give me a comment. It helps the special YouTube magical algorithm show that people are actually watching this bad boy. So let's go ahead and dive right in. For those of you also new to the channel, we leave our lines on the charts so that I can be held accountable to the trades as they come up, and we look for opportunities. So let's go ahead and start with an S&P. So the Nasdaq or S&P. Yesterday I talked about that we had this pinching triangle pattern. And usually on these pinching triangle patterns, especially when you get something like this. Yesterday when we had this candle, which came up and rejected it, and then another one which came up and rejected it. Usually that makes me feel really good about the breakout. And so price said, boom, here we go. Let's do this. And then it rallied up, and we got a really nice move in the early pre-market trading, or post-market trading, I guess it would be. And then right around the London Open, we've been trading down ever since. So it was like, here we go. Let's do this. Right? And so not a whole lot of movement coming out of this breakdown. Was looking at that as a potential opportunity, but nothing has really come to fruition. And so what I talked about earlier in the week is that we've got kind of a chop week. That's really what's happened, right? We've basically got a chop week. I'm a little concerned when I look at the weekly chart, the fact that we've had 2 down weeks in a row. Right now, we're possibly getting to a third, because if you think about our typical, unfortunately I say it's typical, it just has been, our Friday sell-off has been that we sell off on Friday. So not a whole lot of opportunity in here today for me on any of these. I will look up here to see if we do get a Friday sell-off, potentially somewhere up in this region here, right around the European Open. We may get a Friday sell-off opportunity on a retest back to this area. So let me move this to a 15-minute time period chart. And then I'm going to take this and move it to there. So take a look at that as a potential reversal opportunity for today, if indeed we get it. It may, it may not get to there, but I didn't take this pivot here because this is a retest of this area over here to the left. This was really the best entry, was the retest on this pivot back to here. But I will tell you, I was asleep, and so I didn't see it form and I didn't see it retest. But this right here could still be pretty valid. If indeed we get a pop back up into there. It might be interesting to see if we get there, sometime in the early afternoon today before our afternoon sell-off, which is what has happened the last, number of Fridays. As far as the Nasdaq goes, not willing to be quite the seller on the Nasdaq that I am in the S&P, only because the S&P has been my weaker market as of late. Still have a sell trade way up here in the S&P. In the Nasdaq, we could theoretically have another one set up right about here. That's another very viable opportunity. The other thing that could be done in the Nasdaq is, and it may not come obviously today, but a breakout above this area. So if you get long above here, then this would be your target somewhere right in there. Obviously, I don't think it's going to get there today if I think that we're going to have a little bit of a chop and a Friday sell-off. Crude oil. So in crude oil, the level I'm looking at's down here, where we had a little bit of basing before before this strong rally, but after this sideways price pattern. And this was, this was formed at a decent time of the day, early in the morning, nice little rally up that started it. To get down there, I think that there's, if you're so inclined, I think that there's some short opportunities. If you wanted to play a rally up into this region right here sometime this morning, sometime today, I think you could get that. I will say this. I am not holding pretty much anything over the weekend still. It's still, as far as when we're living in and I don't mean this in a negative light or in a political light, but when we're in a financial world dominated by tweets, and those tweets can come out at any time and they can move the market 10 points on the S&P up or down, I'm not confident holding something over a weekend where a gap can occur. And what we saw last week is that those tweets can affect even crude oil. So with the gap down, now what would have stunk terribly is if you were long crude oil, you got stopped out on the gap down after a tweet, only for price to come higher than it was before it occurred. Now I'm not being political when I say that, so I always tread lightly around those topics because I know a lot of people get inflamed one way or the other. I don't. I just care that these markets can be moved by something outside of your control, and so I'm not going to hold it over the weekend. So if we don't get here today, I'm actually not going to, I'll leave the position in play, but I'm not going to hold the position over the weekend if for some reason I do get in. Gold, solid gold. We are rallying off of the level that we'd identified a couple of days ago. Price has really rallied from there, but not a whole lot of movement since. And so I think at this point, this is an okay breakout trade above this area here. If you wanted to give this a go on a breakout above this 1262. Bonds, Aussie, Euro, Canadian, not a whole lot of movement this morning in advance of NFP. And so, I am looking at this here on the Canadian dollar. We've also got a pretty similar look on the euro. For those of you that are interested, but remember our rules on breakouts at announcements. If the breakout happens because of the announcement, sometimes you'll get a wick up and then a wick down, and then the normal movement will occur. Okay, keep that in mind. I've done a lesson on on breakout trading, and breaking out around announcements is really the hardest time to place breakout trades. Now, if the non-farm payroll, if the NFP comes out and it moves it down to demand, this area here, then that may be a buying opportunity. Or if it moves it up to here, that may be a good opportunity. These announcements are really strong for reversals. They're not always quite as strong for breakouts. And let's see, last but certainly not least, we are taking a look at nat gas, British pound, Japanese yen, copper. So nat gas, we got a little bump off of our buying opportunity yesterday. So some of you hopefully were able to catch that for a nice little profit, as it did come right to our profit target. So I'm going to remove this level now. I don't like the way that we're just chopping off of it. It came up, hit the profit objective, and then came right back down into it. A very lackluster move off of it. If you were able to take that one, do me a favor, leave a comment down below so that I can know that somebody is. In our British pound position, this is one of them where being overly cautious cost us. And it cost me because I had set up a confirmation style entry to say, well, if we get halfway into the level, then we will activate the trade, and then we get short as it comes out. Well, by doing so, miss the trade. So I know that in many years past, I would have punched myself for that, right? So mad because I missed it. But the thing you got to remember about missing a trade is that there's always going to be another trade. The level's still valid for now, so I'll leave it in play. But it's not a trade that you should have entered if you follow your rules around confirmation. Now, if you didn't change it to a confirmation entry, great, you made a little profit on that thing. You need to now manage your stop accordingly to protect yourself. Japanese yen, still a level way up above us, way up here. Nothing here that I'm in love with at the moment. And then copper, continuing that move down. I wouldn't be opposed to somebody getting short on a breakdown below really this area right here, because this is a rally up, which we could drop down from this area right here. So I will be back on our weekend edition on Sunday evening. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to send me an email, chuck@iiefinancial.com, and I will see you all real soon. Thanks so much. Have a good day.